Enots Engineering, I'm Alan. In today's video we're making a linishing disc. This comes in a kit from Hemingway Kits and it fits the Warden tool, a cunter grinder. But I think with some modification you could also use it in the lathe. It comes complete with the sanding discs, so let's go into the workshop and see how we do it. This is the Warden linishing disc and it comes in a kit from Hemingway Kits. So what do you get in the kit? You get the drawing, and the drawing has instructions on it. You get 10 self-adhesive sanding discs and a bag with some grub screws and cap head. Also get a piece of steel to make the clamp and the aluminium disc that holds the paper. So let's make a start. One little tip is these lines on the chuck face, they give you an idea of where to align your jaw to. So in this case I've come in 1, 2, 3, 4.5 to the corner of the chuck jaw, and I've done that on all the jaws. So when you put your part in, it shouldn't be far out. So just nip those up. Now I need to clock this up. I'll put my dial indication in the tool post. One division on here is a thou. So all I've done is take the highest reading. So I've got a 20 there, 20 there, goes down to 0 there, 0 there. Let's just check the boss in the middle. That's about 30 thou. So I'll leave it at that. I have tapped the centre with a mallet so that I know that this casting is on the face of each jaw. So what I'll do now is face off face. It's a large face true. Still not quite cleaned up. I'll fit in my boring bar and I'll machine partly along this face and machine the inside of this lip. And the main reason I'm doing this is I want it all to be running true. I don't want any vibrations when the motor's running this round. I've set my compound slide over 20 degrees. Rather than make this a sharp corner in here, I'll follow the existing casting angle. I'm now facing off the boss. So I've finished the diameter, I've finished the face. Next job is to centre drill. I'm drilling a 10mm hole through for an 11mm reamer. I'm boring the bore to true it up, get within a few thou of the finished size. I've fitted my reamer into my floating reamer attachment. This is loose like that because it will start find its own centre. Move it back in. Start it off again. And that's that part done. So the next thing I need to do is turn it round and hold it in the chuck on this diameter. I've turned the jaws around in the 4-jaw chuck and I'm holding the disc on the diameter that we turned, and I'm clocking up on the OD that we were holding it on before. The best I can get it is running to about half a thou. So that's obviously not round, it's a sort of oval shape, but it's not important. I just want to try and get it as true as possible so that I don't get any vibration when I use it. When cutting the aluminium, sometimes the aluminium sticks to the tooltip, and I'm just using some WD-40 to prevent it. It needs to be about 150 the diameter, and that's 150.26. A lot of chatter on there now, and this is the problem. The disc is thin here, thicker on the outside, and of course it's like a bell. This is vibrating as you hit the inclusions. It vibrates and puts a groove in, so that's the best I can get there as a finish. I'm not going to touch it anymore. I've had 3 goes at doing the face. So the next is the bore. Set my boring bar up. And I'm just machining the counter bore, which is 916 by 716 deep. And this is finished apart from a few holes to be drilled. Just take this out of the chuck. There's the finished disc. I now need to make the steel clamping slug. I want it to be a good fit. So I'm taking a few thou off, checking it. If that's okay, I'll go all the way along. And take another few thou off and check it again. There we go. Not going to take any more off that. It's a nice fit. I'm just making the counterbore for the cap head. Just face off the side I've just parted. And there's a slug fitted in the linishing plate. I fitted my indexing plate on the back of the 3-jaw chuck, and the arm for the indexer. This is just a plunger. As I screw this, it feeds it into these holes. So I just feed it into the hole. That locks the chuck in that position. Now if it was a 4-jaw chuck, I'd have just placed this piece of steel on the bed and brought the jaw down till it touched there. But as it's a 3-jaw chuck, I can't divide it by 2. I fitted my tool post spindle, and now I'm drilling the hole for an M5 grub screw. I've drilled and tapped the 2 holes, M5, one each side of the boss. So that's finished. And finally the 2 grub screws. Just a tip, when you finish turning the end, just put the die on them to make sure you haven't damaged your thread. Because if you screw that into the aluminium and it's a damaged thread, you could damage the thread in the aluminium quite easily. There it is, fitting to the motor. Now, just one point, you'll need to make one of the grub screws that go in the back a little shorter than the other one, because one goes into a slot on the motor spindle and the other one grips on the other side. But when you put that on, no vibration. And the next job is to put the sandpaper on. I want to cut a little hole in the middle so I can get that screw off to remove it. I cleaned the back in with some brake and clutch cleaner, and then when that dried, peeled the adhesive off the back and it just sticks on easy. Okay, we'll see how this performs. I've just got a piece of steel. This is a piece of old girder that's been cut off, and you can see it's still got the coating on the end. So what I'll do is feed this into the sanding disc and see how it copes. And you can see the end there. Squared that off quite quickly. I'll see if I can get a better finish. Now that's the type of finish you'll get with that grit. And remember, this is an 80 grit, so if I get a finer grit, should get even finer finish. Oh well, that's it for today. Hope that was useful, hope it was interesting, and we'll see you next time on Enots Engineering.